Are you getting frustrated with what to feed a teenager who's always hungry? Everybody knows that teenagers have a huge appetite. It seems like you need to feed them constantly to satisfy their hunger. It's even more difficult where teenagers who struggle with their weight truly want to make changes, like cut down on junk food or stop overeating, and they can't. There's frustration, isolation, stress, and that's why I decided to create a recipe collection of 30 easy and healthy meals for teenagers. They're all high in protein to satisfy your teenager's hunger, and they can all be ready in less than 30 minutes. If you want to grab a free copy, go to lifestyleforteens.com/recipes.
This is the Lifestyle and Weight Loss for Teens podcast. If you're a mom and want to help your child who is struggling to lose weight, you are in the right place. If you are looking for healthy lifestyle tips, Dr. Gourgari is here to help you understand the science around safe weight loss in teens and children. Because what works for adult weight loss is not always the best for children. This podcast is for educational purposes only. Dr. Gourgari does not provide medical, psychological, or nutrition therapy advice. You should not use this information to diagnose or treat any health problems without consulting your own medical practitioner. And now, your host, Dr. Jenny Gourgari.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Lifestyle and Weight Loss for Teens podcast. This is Dr. Jenny Gourgari, and on today's episode, I decided to talk about school lunches. And I had another teenager the other day telling me, when I asked them, what do you eat for lunch throughout the week? And the options were pizza, burgers, mac and cheese, chicken tenders, and things like that. And that's not an exception. That is actually a common story I get when I talk with teenagers and try to get an idea about what is their eating habits during the week. So teenagers spend a good amount of their time at school, like almost a third of their life. So it is important to get a better idea of how do they spend the time during the school, what are the options available, and what can we do, if anything, to improve the environment where they spend all this time. So there was a great study which was published a few years ago, and the title of this manuscript is The Association of the School Food Environment with Dietary Behaviors of Young Adolescents. It was published in the Journal of Research and Practice by Dr. Kubik and her team. And what they did in this study is that they actually asked grade 7 teenagers. They were almost 600 students that they were attending the school. And so they asked them to get a list of the foods that they were eating, what they were getting from school, and if there was like what we call a la carte menus, meaning that they can buy whatever they want from what was offered in the school. And then they looked at the different options, what the teenagers chose to eat, and then what were their eating habits. So what they found was that when the schools had these programs where there was a la carte availability, meaning the kids could select and buy what they wanted to eat, they found that the kids tended to eat significantly less fruits and vegetables. And there was a tendency for the kids to have more food that they were mainly fatty food. Also, another thing they found is that the vending machines that are available at school, well, in those schools that they were available, when they were available, they also were associated with less fruit consumption, which makes sense, right? Because the kids are more likely to buy unhealthy snacks from the vending machines. and less likely to have fruit. And so what does that tell us? That tells us that there is a lot of area for improvement in the school environment. And everybody of us, teenagers, all the same as adults, we have a certain power and willpower and conscious choice to get one food versus the other. But the environment where we live is very important, and we can make our environment be more helpful for us, so we can make the environment easier. So one of the environments that can help teenagers significantly is the school environment. So when you make the schools healthier, when you offer healthier options at school, when you remove sugary drinks from the school, when you remove the vending machines that have the unhealthy snacks, when you offer options that have a specific amount of fruits and vegetables, so that makes it easier for teenagers that want to get into a healthy weight and teenagers that want to build healthy habits. It makes it easier for them. So the same way we need to make the environment at home easier, the same way we need to make the environment at school easier if we want to help our teenagers get into healthy habits and get into healthy eating patterns. So as parents, as adults, as active members of our community, I think we ought to reach out to our schools. We need to have those conversations and start to have those conversations with the school environment on what is the menu, how can we make it easier, how can we make the environment healthier for our students. And I know that oftentimes we say that it is better for the children to have and pack their lunch from home. Of course, that will be always my first recommendation. However, I know that this may not always be possible, or it may not be possible every day. So it may be possible like a few days per week, which is still fine. But then that there are kids that don't have the ability to have lunch from home every day, and they rely heavily on the ability of the school to provide lunch and sometimes to provide breakfast too. So for those teenagers, which are a lot of teenagers fall into this category, it is important for us to make that environment healthier and have the discussions with the school to provide that options to help our kids live healthier lives and make it easier for them to choose water, to choose over sugary drinks, over sodas, to choose fruits and vegetables over sugary juices, to choose fruits and vegetables over unhealthy, fattier snacks. So that's all I had to share with you today. I hope this was helpful, and I hope this was a starting point that you can have with your teenagers, you can have with your school districts on what is the lunch that is served, what are the snacks that are available at school, how can we make it more easily accessible, fruits and vegetables and healthier snacks to the kids that are in school. Take care, and I will talk to you again next week. And again, if you're not on my newsletter, I encourage you to go to lifestyle14s.com/newsletter, sign up. I send weekly emails with weekly tips and updates on the podcast episodes, so you never miss out on anything I produce. Take care.
If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, I invite you to come check out the LIFT program. It's Dr. Gourgari's 12-week coaching program for teens and their moms, where we take all this information, we apply it to your daily life, and we work together so your teenager learns how to create a healthy lifestyle so they can feel happier, more confident, less stressed, and love their body again. Visit the website at lifestyle14s.com and click on the Work With Me and free resources to learn more about this program and get free help to start this journey right away. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode of Lifestyle and Weight Loss for Teens.